Alrighty team, this is big. This is one of the longest reacts we're going to be doing for quite some time now. World of Midnight Developer Panel. This is from Gamescom 2025 for World of Warcraft. We've been reacting to pretty much every little bit of detailed content coming from Gamescom in regards to Midnight, so this one's a big one. About 24 minutes. Let's dive on in. I'm not going to pause it too much, but if I do feel like I need to speak, I will. We've seen this in the housing feature video, so I kind of already know what to expect. Well, it's a panel, so I'm assuming we're actually just going to get Q&A type of vibes going on. We'll see. I doubt this is a 24-minute. Yeah. Yes. Oh, wow. The stage is cool. For a Gamescom stage, this is pretty cool.
Thank you, Gamescom. Thank you for coming out for this panel where we're going to talk about the world of Midnight. The story, the zones, the cultures, and the places that you'll go. I'm Ian Hazekostas, Game Director on WoW.
Hi, I'm Maria Hamilton, Associate Design Director on WoW. I'm super happy to be here.
I like her shirt, by the way.
And so today we're going to talk about story, cultures, delves, dungeons, and raids. So let me just kick things off with a quick recap of the stories so far. What brought us here? So we began the World Soul Saga around a year ago and began telling the largest, most ambitious story we've ever tried to tell in World of Warcraft.
I've been enjoying it too.
Whispers, visions that the champions of Azeroth were beginning to experience that ultimately led Thrall and Anduin, among others, to, you know, a certain sword in a certain place.
And they were losing it.
We investigated, we tracked those visions down, and ultimately they led us to the mysterious land of Khazalgar, where we deployed the floating city of Dalaran, and that didn't go so well. We were in fact ambushed by Xal'atath and her Nerubian allies, where Xal'atath wielded the Dark Heart artifact to drain the power of Dalaran, capturing Khadgar as well, and destroying the city. Over the course of our adventures, Xal'atath thwarted us several times, but Ilaria was able to ultimately perceive the power and the importance of the Dark Heart. She struck out at it, damaging it. This severely disrupted Xal'atath's plans, as well as freeing Khadgar. He was mortally wounded, but Anduin was able to step in and save him. But that disruption led Xal'atath to seek out the aid of one Gallywix. Now, the Dark Heart is this incredible...
This is where I can pause it, because you said enough. Undermine, or the second season patch of The War Within, has been my least favorite of all of the content thus far. I despise the Undermine. There's some cool things from it. I don't hate everything, but the actual cadence of the Undermine is dreadful. Season 1 and 3 so far, enjoyed them. And I'm not talking about the endgame content and all that. I'm just talking about the game itself, like the casual content, the season, the farming of the rep, the questing, all that type of stuff. In regards to like seasons, it's pretty much all the same shit, with a new raid, a new flavor, and a new look. But the actual gameplay, the beginning of the War Within, new expansion, very, very cool. We ended up having like a little mini patch, Simon Owl, blah blah blah. Undermine, hated it. Then we had a little mini patch, and then now we're at season 3, with the Void, Omega, Xal'atath being front and center throughout the campaign as well. I've actually been really, really enjoying it thus far. And now this is leading into what he's about to talk about pretty soon, which is the next expansion, Midnight.
Incredibly powerful artifact, originally crafted by Neltharion with the aid of the goblins. So who better than some goblins to repair the damage? But she should have found some more trustworthy goblins, because Gallywix, of course, had a plan of his own. And the Dark Heart ended up falling into the hands of Shadowguard Ethereals, who aimed to use it to bring back the Void Lord Demencius. But threat so great that it even forced Xalatath to set aside her goals and work with us for a time.
I've been enjoying
to stop
this.
his rise and the inevitable devouring of all worlds. Now, we have defeated Dimensius, at least on story mode, Road Finder, normal, and heroic. I think Echo is actually working on Mythic around 25 minutes from here right now. So is Method and Liquid. But would you believe that upon Dimensius' defeat, Xalatath was not, as it turns out, on our side?
Bro, spoilers. Bro just spoiled the whole damn thing for me, bro. I'm not there yet, mate. You just released story mode, by the way, which is where I get my stuff from. But broski just... I enjoyed working with Xalatath. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm not stupid. I knew this was gonna be the story.
And so she claimed the power of the Void Lord Dimensius, ascended to become one of the most powerful beings the cosmos has ever known. And now, as we move into midnight, she is set to launch an assault that will plunge our world into darkness, that will extinguish all light unless we stand against it.
All right, well, let's start off talking about our heroes and our foes. So starting off, we've got Turalian, Erator, and Ilaria. We've been following Ilaria's journey for a bit here. We know about her feelings about Xalatath, and she was right all along. We also have Turalian, her husband, who will be an important part of Midnight as a representative of the light. So at the very end of the cinematic there, when we see the light coming in response to Liadrin's prayer, the army of light has arrived. And so have the players. We also will be called by the light to come and join that battle. Erator, of course, is their child. He also is a paladin, and he is very supportive and understanding of both of his parents. He's trying to understand the void influences.
When the fuck did he come? Bro, has he always been a character? I've never known this.
That Ilaria is dealing with, as well as the strong call to light that his father has. So he's a little bit in the middle of the two. So they are very important to our story. And of course we have Xalatath. Couldn't go very far without Xalatath, our very cool...
That form of her looks really good.
Do whatever she needs to do to achieve whatever her goal is. She's now stated what her goal is. She's going to wipe us off the planet. She's going to take Azeroth. She's going to take all the power for herself and bring down Midnight. So looking forward to seeing what's happening with Xalatath. Wasn't really expecting the Army of Light to show up there, as you could tell. She seemed a little surprised, but she's got plenty of forces and she's very powerful at this point. We also have Liadrin. She is a she's the Blood Knight matriarch. She's obviously a very powerful paladin. She's the one who has called upon the light to come and save the day. And she is going to be very important to our efforts to push back the void. She does not have a strong liking for the Amani trolls, and that will become important. We have Orwena, who we met back in the War Within, the Heronir. We met a few of them.
The only thing...
and as you probably know, we'll be going and seeing more about their culture.
Only thing I don't like so far about Midnight
an opportunity to teach us about her
is the allied race.
what they care about, what their interests are, their culture. And,
don't hate it, it's just there's so many better options.
Actually, she is not an elder. There are elder Heronir, much more knowledgeable and wise. She follows the voice of her goddess, and that has taken her into places that we have been able to find her at last. We have Umbric and the Void Elves. This is an opportunity for the Void Elves to really come into their own, having been banished essentially from Silvermoon and their kin, essentially, because of the void taint that they feel that they have. Umbric is obviously trying to pull his people together, and he has a lot to contribute to our efforts to face off against the void. We have Zuljara and Zul'Jan, grandchildren of Zul'Jin. Zuljara is the chieftain of the Amani. Zul'Jani is her greatest advisor and brother.
They look fat.
They are going to be giving us an opportunity to experience the Amani culture, not as enemies this time, but as sort of friends.
Oh.
The two are having slight void problems, and they need some assistance. Needless to say, the Blood Elves are uninspired by that request, as they aren't on best of terms. And then we have the Void and the Light, arguably the biggest conflict here between two forces. The Void we have been fighting against, the Light we have been fighting with. But, you know, extremes of either are problematic, as you might imagine. So there will be some issues between the two, and also issues between people that are Void-based, like Void Elves, and the Army of the Light Paladins, for example. So that's another important sort of contrast to watch during midnight. And now let's look at the really pretty pictures, go into the culture and zones. So our first culture to talk about is Blood Elves. Those of you that don't play Horde may not know a lot about the Blood Elves. This is your opportunity to rectify that. They were High Elves before adopting the name Sindorai to...
No, I wanted to speak about this. Transmogs, by the way, the gear, Blood Elves, do they have a heritage armor? I mean, this is too much to go for anyways. But what I'm saying, hear me out, that middle set on the left from the male Blood Elf with the hood from the female on the right in the middle, banger. That'd be top tier. That'd be goated.
Represent and reflect upon the death of so many of their own. The Scourge, you know, did a terrible number on their home area in Eversong and Ghostlands, and they have been recovering ever since. Their need for power, their need for energy and magical strength is well known. They are very, very tied to the Sunwell, which is, of course, exactly what Xal'atath is going after. Here's some pre-alpha footage for you that we just captured a couple weeks ago. I want to point out that there's not a lot of creatures spawned yet because, as I said, we're pre-alpha. But it's looking really good. It's exactly like what you might expect from Eversong. Eversong and Ghostlands have been combined into a single zone, Quel'Thalas. Because it's a relatively small zone. They were small zones back in Classic, and now with Skyriding, we wanted to feel fun to move through them. But as you can see, you know, it's the usual sorts of architecture that you would expect: the lofty, glistening towers, the amazing foliage and manicured gardens, and there are some things that have healed. The Dead Scar, in particular, has totally healed and is no longer there.
That's so good.
Parts of the zone, however, have healed up. There are still some areas that look a little bit iffy, this being one of them. So yeah, essentially, it's the same place you're used to. If you're a Blood Elf, if not, here's your opportunity to check it out.
One of my favorite starting zones and one of my favorite
It was super fun for us.
races,
Had a great time.
by far, Blood Elves.
Had the opportunity to make it just a little bit bigger, a little bit better, and increase the fidelity of the zone. Hope you'll enjoy it. We're going to move on now. And this is Silver Moon City.
Oh my gosh.
It's enormous.
Oh my.
I would say
wow.
that because it's a hub city, there's a small section of Silver Moon that's been set aside as a sanctuary area where Horde and Alliance share that space.
Wow.
But the majority of the city is Horde, and you know, Alliance is kill on sight, as you would expect.
Let's
The
go.
building team had a wonderful time. It's all new assets. The city walls are all brand new, all to top fidelity. Everything has been remade. We've got places you'll recognize. You should feel real nostalgia if you've had any experience here. We have Murder's Row, which you're going to see a dungeon related to that as well. But overall, it's the same glorious, wonderful Silver Moon you love, but with much, much better, much more recent fidelity art. And once this stuff gets filled in with our spawning, it's going to look amazing. And yeah, there's a little void storm problem going on. And let's talk about the Amani, because they're the next culture we're going to want to talk about. We're previously enemies. If you happen to be around
The Amani are
raid in
fat
Zul'Aman,
trolls.
then you're familiar with the Amani, and sort of their culture. We've had an opportunity to expand them because we created a.
I recently leveled up a Blood Elf. A Blood Elf Priest. It's like my last leveling series that I did. And I didn't know any of this was happening for Midnight. Like, I didn't know what the content was, except for Midnight being void-based. I'm so happy I've leveled one and played it because I felt I relived the RP of the leveling experience, like understanding the zones, but now I get to understand it even more going into Midnight.
There's zone for them now. They are very proud people. They worked very hard to get their land. They had some important work to do. The Zandalari basically said, well, you can have that land if you defeat this, giant, evil, horrible thing. And so they did that. And they were a great empire for a period of time, but they've fallen sort of into a lesser status now. They've sort of lost their touch with the Loa. They're not as close to them. Being right on the border and having a lot of conflict with the Blood Elves makes this a little tricky for them. They too are having some void problems. This is Ulaman. We've built the entire zone out. You will see the raid space. It still exists. Those of you that did that raid will recognize those buildings, I expect. This is a very old forest, very tall mountains. It's temperate. It rains a fair bit. It's got eagle, lynx, janalai. It's got dragonhawk, bear, Loa, temples still, but the Amani haven't been really worshipping the Loa for a long time. A lot of stuff is overgrown and abandoned, and Zuljara is going to need to find a way to help her people survive the void onslaught that is coming for them. As you can see where the void has come in, it's not looking quite so good. And let's move on to the Heronir. So we met the Heron.
So I've said this earlier. I'm not a fan of this being an allied race right now. Maybe in the future, but right now. Many reasons. One, this is basically a troll / night elf combination. Two, this is a race that we've been introduced to not so long ago, about a year ago. Three, we do not need any more troll variants as allied races. I'm sick of it. We've already got enough trolls, by the way. We don't need any more. And there's just so many other options that we could have gotten, but we got this. So I'm not disappointed in this being an allied race. I'm just disappointed in the fact that we don't need this.
Early on in the War Within, but we weren't really sure what they were about. We didn't know their story.
No one cares.
And we didn't know their connection.
That's the thing.
Really,
this is the only thing I don't like about the Midnight. Otherwise, everything else is great.
They're ancient guardians of the Rootways, and they're led actually by a council of elders. They have a very direct connection with their goddess, and Orwena has a very strong direct connection, in fact, with the goddess, which led her to leave her people and go out into the outside world, something that they don't tend to do and they don't really look kindly upon. So, as you probably have heard, they are unlocked as an allied race. You'll be able to make your very own Heronir. We're going to have great customizations for them. They look pretty awesome. I have to say, I've seen the Druid forms. We weren't able to show those yet. They are really awesome. One of them is a pangolin, which just looks amazing.
I've seen some of the forms, especially their cat and bear form in the cinematics.
And they have different kinds of patterns they can put on their faces and chests. So, really cool looking, really awesome. Not really elves, not really trolls. Those of you that have kind of seen them previously, played in the War Within, know that they take a bat form when they want to travel. So that's the Heronir and their customizations. And this is the zone, Herondar. It is a fungal jungle place, and it has the...
So we have 4 zones that we're going to get. She's spoken about Eversong getting revamped, so we got Quel'Thalas. So Ghostlands and Eversong, aka we got the Quell. So that's a old zone but revamped. I'm gonna enjoy that. Number 2, we got the Armani Troll Zone. So I mean we get to dive deeper into it. So that's a old zone coming back, but they're gonna expand on it. So I'm okay with it. I'm just done with trolls, man. They just seem to always be in the way every single expansion. They're trolls. Like, what are we kidding? This zone, I can already tell, is going to be the next expansion's Aj Kahet for me. Hated Aj Kahet. There's always one zone that I just cannot stand to be in. This is going to be that zone. Because then the last zone's all void-based, and I absolutely think that might be my second favorite besides the Blood Up area.
All of the roots of the world trees
I don't like this.
all converge here, all are twisted up in this area, this pocket area, which isn't really directly connected to anything. That people...
This area looks kind of nice, though.
Haranir travel through the routeways themselves, so they're able to move around the world. One of the interesting things about this zone is it has a place called the Rift of Aln, and from the Rift of Aln will issue forth creatures that their goddess dreams. And sometimes they are horrific and horrible things. And some members of the Haranir take an oath, give up their connection to the goddess, and serve as wardens of that place, preventing those horrible creatures from attacking. They also have this place called the Den of Echoes, which we're looking at now. This is where the Haranir remember their past through paintings. And you will have an opportunity to learn some of those stories by interacting with those paintings. And let's talk a little bit about the Void, since we also have that as a culture. You can see people you recognize on one side, and people you probably recognize less on the other side. Void creatures in general are very predatory. They are
the two on the
interested in
left
making
look super
anything
cool.
smaller and weaker than themselves and taking that power. The Dominar, which are sort of the strongest, are a bit different. They are very, very intelligent, very smart. And the Dominar actually have a bit of a hierarchy that they've developed, again, through conquest, through, beating on and dominating others. And you will deal with Dominar as one of the stronger representatives of the Void. Of course, Xalatath is part of this group. Cultists who follow Xalatath and follow the Void. We've already seen the Shadow Guard as well. There's even cute little ones, but they will try to eat you, so don't think that they're all that cute. And this is Voidstorm.
I love this zone. I've seen this already.
That has been formed by the Void.
This looks so nice.
Everything here is hungry. Everything will eat you given opportunity. This is all about gaining power, becoming stronger, becoming more powerful, and eating the next thing.
I love that.
Essentially, we have a big raid here in Voidstorm. This is where we will face off against the Void with the Army of Light and attempt to make sense of what's going on here. But there are some gorgeous pictures. I would say the best blues and purples ever, probably, happening right here. But generally speaking, a really, really cool zone to explore.
That looks so good.
And you can be pretty sure that they're enemies, all of them.
They're not mine, but I will kill them, but they're not mine.
And off to Ian for delves, dungeons, and raids. Thanks all.
She did a good job. She had some stuttering, probably very nervous, but she did good.
Yeah, all those amazing zones that you just saw, of
That was
course,
cool.
are going to contain delves, dungeons, and raids. And so really, delves are one of our proudest additions to War Within, and they are, of course, here to stay. And so you have 10 new delves coming with Midnight, scattered across these zones. They can be
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I count 11, and I'm assuming... Oh, Torment's Rise has an asterisk next to it. I'm assuming that is the boss's delve. But, speaking of delves, I think it's one of the best endgame bits of content that they've brought in an expansion, and I'm glad they're continuing it. I feel like they always try something new. We've had islands, we've had Torghast, we've had scenarios, we've had everything. I think delves have been the best combination of all of it. They all seem to have something similar to them, but I feel delves have been the best version of it. You can do it in solo, you can do it in groups. I've never done a group delve in my life. You have some sort of a story progress, you have achievements. So the way it works and the way you can get your collectibles and cool things, I think delves have hit it, and I like it. I do get bored of them very quick, but I mean, that's because I finished the content. Why am I going to do it again once I'm done? I don't want the replayability. I just want to get it done and be done. Once I've collected everything, no more until next season.
But more layouts, more enemies that we found work better in this format, and less of those that don't. A couple of these delves are actually going to be outdoor spaces where you can use your ground mounts to get around more easily. And we're really happy to be able to integrate them into the stories of the zones, because now that they're such a proven format, we can really have quests lead you through them more regularly. Now, of course, in addition to these 10
I love
delves,
delves.
there is an 11th Nemesis delve, where you will track down the nemesis that has been plaguing you over the course of the season.
So that's going to be the boss.
In the place of Bran Bronzebeard will be a new companion, none other than our good friend Valera Sanguinari.
Yes, let's go!
She will aid you in many of the same ways as Bran, and hopefully...
How is she going to heal?
Things that you'd prefer
Or tank? She could tank, but how's she going to heal?
Dungeons.
Then again, how Bran heal?
Coming in midnight.
Well, first of all, delves, cool. We got a new follower, cool. Again, I love everything that they've done for Midnight so far. Just the allies race. 4 level up delves. So a lot of those are blood elf based, and then we got the 4 max level. So they're sticking with the 4-4 system for dungeons.
4 level up, 4 max level. And again, these we always try to showcase fun gameplay and innovative looks at the dungeon format. We'll be returning to Magister's Terrace, which has really been reimagined and expanded from last we saw it. We'll visit some new locations that weren't accessible before, including a balcony overlooking the Sunwell itself. When we go to Murder Row, a corner of Silvermoon, I think for Court of Stars fans back from Legion, there's some of those vibes here, as we're actually going in undercover to investigate rumors of the use of fell magic within the walls of Silvermoon.
Nice.
Before we know it, we're going to be plunged into combat, and the dungeon will unfold from there. Another favorite is the Void Scar Arena in the Voidstorm. Here, up at the whims of one of the Dominar that Maria was just mentioning, combatants from around the universe come together to kind of battle to the death for the pleasure of the Dominar, and we're going to be thrown in.
Hold up, before he speaks. Void Scar Arena. Are we gonna get a Trial of the Crusader, Trial of Champion based dungeon again? I know one of them was a raid. Meaning, bosses, no trash, boss after boss? Oh, please. Please.
Into that arena as part of this dungeon.
No trash.
Don't worry, especially in Mythic Plus,
Please.
as waves come at you, you can control the pace of the waves. Of course, we're gonna have.
It still sounds cool, but we're gonna get waves.
Dungeons, as well as 4 returning fan favorites in the first season of Midnight. But
just like the War Within.
All 8 of these dungeons will be available in Mythic 0 during that pre-season period.
Finally.
Another fun dungeon.
I didn't like that the first time around.
Windrunner Spire, where for those of you, particularly lore fans out there,
I had to wait till season 2 to do the other 4.
The family history and the tragic background of the Windrunner family. This is a wing dungeon with plenty of mysteries to uncover. Now in Midnight, we have not 1, not 2, but 3 separate raid zones.
Finally.
Rolling out over the course of the first season.
Finally. I get bored of the same cadence all the time. They finally mix it up. Instead of 1 raid, 8 bosses, we get 3 different raids. And they're finally bringing back a 1 boss raid, which
here you see
so cool.
The Void Spire in the Voidstorm.
That's the main raid.
Stronghold of power where we're going to need to assault Xalatath. This is a 6 boss raid.
Yep, that's the main one.
There will also be the Dream Rift, a 1 boss raid.
Yay.
Harinar. And then shortly after that, we'll be able to take the fight back to the Sunwell and the Gates of Silvermoon.
That's so cool.
March on Keldanas.
I love that.
So really excited to have different environments, different settings, and really integrate the raids into the stories that we're telling more than ever before. Because with story mode, all players can experience these epic moments, and we can offer a wider range of environments for guilds to challenge themselves against. So that is a quick look at the world, the setting, and what's coming in Midnight. Thank you, Gamescom.
Very cool. Absolutely stoked. Cannot wait, and I cannot wait to bring you guys the content of Midnight. Stay tuned. I've yet to make a new playlist for the Midnight. I'm going to kind of wait until I actually start playing gameplay. So all the reacts are just going to continue going into the War Within's playlist. But until then, I'll catch you all there.